Hello, wonderful people. How are you? Today I'm talking about trusting the plan. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So I watched a really interesting video the other day made by some psychologist or whatever, and she was talking about language that's used that kind of hypnotizes, cult language, and language that's used that stops you from thinking. It stops you the cognitive process. And what you were saying was that one of the signs of a cult is that they use language that it's kind of like a codified language. It has special meaning to the people who are within that cult. And so she started talking about, cult leaders, Charles Manson, the guy who got everybody to drink Kool-Aid and die and stuff like that. And she was analysing the language that they use and how they use certain expressions and that people understood what those expressions meant. Whereas if you're on the outside, you don't. The people on the inside, because they understand that, it makes them feel good, it makes them understand, like, yeah, we know, we're in the gang, yeah? And as I was watching, I was thinking, well, where's she going to go with this? Because she was talking about cult members. Then she moved to the group of people who are the Anon followers, yeah? And she said, they have an expression and they say, trust the plan. And what she said is when things like that are said, there's nothing else that you can say. It's like, well, yeah, but I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. And she's saying, well, when somebody says, just trust the plan, it leads to inactivity. Mentally, physically, everybody just puts themselves on pause. And I was thinking to myself, okay, so she's gone after cult leaders, not gone after, what she was saying was true. Then she's gone after what appears to be another cult. And I thought, is she going to get into politics? Or, because that's very culty, isn't it? And they use that kind of language like safe and effective, yeah? Stay home, stay safe. All of these little expressions, quite often with 3 words, they're like 3 words as well. But it makes people kind of not think, we just follow that. And sure enough, she didn't get into that. She didn't get into that bit. But what she was saying was that this cult language now has become something normal, used because of the internet. It's used everywhere. And I agree. It's everywhere now. There are even expressions that I hear that I don't like because of the fact that they do exactly that. There's nowhere to go beyond. When somebody says that to you, you haven't got an answer, because no matter how you answer, it's not going to work. For example, when people say, well, shall we just agree to disagree? There's nowhere to go after that. Or when they say, it is what it is. Okay? And what you were saying was that leads to inactivity. The reason I'm telling you all of this is because of the conversation I had with the emissaries the other day. And I'll tell you what it was. And then the conversation I had with the Jesus energy. And I'll tell you what it is. Because they use that language. Okay? So I was talking to the emissaries about the other day. I don't know why I got this massive burst of energy. And I was drawn in my kitchen to put music on at full pelt. Music that I like. And I was dancing just on my own. Dancing and singing, and every now and again I would cry because of the words of the song or whatever, and the memories that they would bring up. It was really a beautiful moment for me. And I was saying to them, what was that about? I'm aware. I'm very aware of my vibration, how it. Sometimes it's up high, sometimes it's down low, and I know it's got a lot to do with what's happening around us, the frequency of the planet. And I know that the Schumann resonance on those days, when you look at the graph, it was just white. It was just a block of white. It's never been known. It's like mega. So I understand that. The emissary said, when you are crying, because I was saying, why was I crying? It was strange. And they said, were the tears of sadness? And I said, no, they weren't. It was a feeling that I had with the words. It was so poignant and everything. And they said, yeah, they're what you would call tears of love. And they said, all tears are good because tears are healing, and that's certainly something I believe in the therapies that I do. Shows of emotion are very, very good. There isn't enough of it. But they said the tears of love are the ones, they are so powerful that they change the dynamic around you. Those tears of love actually change the fabric of our life and of our universe and everything. So they said it's very good. It's okay to cry, even for men. Just don't do it when you're in Tesco's or in the supermarket. Just, keep it to yourself until you're home in the kitchen and you can dance around on your own. So then I came on to this question of language, and I said, what is there to do? What is there for us to do now? What do we do in this moment? And they said, adamantly, they looked me in the eye. They didn't look at me in the eye, but it felt like they were looking me in the eye, and they said, there is nothing to do. There is nothing that you need to do. Everything is done. The plan is set. It's set and it's solid, and there's nothing that you can do that will change that plan. Okay, so we're into trust the plan. Okay? Now, I'm not a non-follower, but I'm aware that trust the plan is a very powerful statement. But is it a statement that makes you fall into inactivity? Perhaps for some people. They go, I just trust the plan. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to eat pizza and watch Netflix, and I'm going to wait. A lot of people did that, didn't they, during that mad time? The shelves in the supermarket were empty, the pizza shelves were empty, and the crisp shelves were empty. Everybody just watching Netflix and whatever. They said all you have to do is be patient. But then they added to it. You see, what I think is this. Trust a plan can be taken two ways. Trust a plan means have faith. Have faith. Okay, and I'll come on to that with the Jesus energy. Faith moves mountains. Faith is all that we need. I watched Tucker Carlson. He was in an interview and he was talking about these days, and he said, you know what, the people who have faith, and he was referring to people who have faith in what the Bible says is going to happen in the last days. But I take it as a general, people who have faith that everything's going to be okay, that the plan is set. He said they're the only ones that are managing this situation well. They're the only ones who are coping with what's going on, because what they're saying is a proof of what they believe to be happening. And I think it's the same for us as well, that our faith helps us to understand that everything's okay. Everything's a mess, but everything's okay. But does that mean that we do nothing? Not at all. And that was the next thing that the emissary said. Trusting the plan must lead to activity. What is the activity? And this is important. We must prepare ourselves. We mustn't spend time trying to change the world. The world is going to be changed anyway. The plan's set. But we must prepare ourselves for that change. That's the activity that we need. Just talk to anybody who has loads of faith, and you'll come away feeling better. Talk to anybody who says, hey, it's going to be all right, and you will feel better. Talk to somebody who says this world is shit, it's going down the shitter, and it's awful, and it's going to be dreadful, and God knows what's going to happen. Oh my God, I'm going to go and buy some crisps. I've seen a good series on Netflix. They're the people who leave us in a very, very low place. They're not the ones that we want to be with, and they're not the people that we want to be either. We have to be active. We have to be active preparing ourselves. How do we do it? Well, we've talked about it so much. It's an inner work. We've got to get ourselves into a great place, and it's a constant work in progress. It isn't a one-time thing. It's a constant maintenance of ourselves, maintaining our faith, building our faith, getting enough information that we can structure our faith and build it. That's our job. So then I had a conversation with the Jesus energy. And I said, give me a message to share. And they said, even though we're in very difficult times, very confusing times, filled with conflicting information, and even though we can be very confused at times, God knows, I have more confusion now than I ever have. I am more confused now, but not confused bad. Confused as in, I don't know what the dickens is happening, but it doesn't matter because that's not my job to know that. It's nice to know, but it's not need to know. And what the Jesus Energy said was, everything that is happening now is meant to be. And it's happening to bring an end to this current status, this current system. It's meant to happen this way. And then they used these words. They said, trust in the process, even if that process seems mad sometimes. Another one, trust in the process, trust the plan. The same message. Why do they keep saying this when supposedly that leads to thoughtlessness? Because it doesn't. Because how it works is this. If you think you're going to die tomorrow and you're shit scared about it, you become useless. You become inactive. You become worthless. You have nothing to offer because all you can think about is the end and how bad it's going to be and what will that mean for me and what will that mean for my family. When you trust that there is a plan, when you really trust that, then you can get on. You can function. Why? Because you're not in fight, flight or freeze. You're not in that place. You're in the rest and relax place. You're in the place where you can cognitively process properly. You can't when you're fearful. You can't when you're shit scared. You can't process anything. There's no room. Everything's taken up. Your CPU's at maximum. Trusting the plan is not bad. It's not a cult. It's a plan. The plan is set. And that's what the Jesus Energy said. The plan is set in stone. It's a covenant. Their words. It's a covenant that cannot be broken. There will be no distortion of the plan. Okay. Now, you might look at the plan and think, it looks pretty fucking distorted to me. Distortion everywhere. But that's because we're watching the fall of this structure. We're watching it crumble. It ain't going to be pretty. It was never going to be pretty. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be awful to watch. But when we know that behind that is a plan, that there's a process, it's been written, as the Jesus Energy said, it was written a long time ago. All that we're doing is we've come here to watch that play out, to witness what's happening. That's all. That's all. So we needn't worry, and we needn't worry that we're getting caught in a cult. Everybody's in a cult. There are no escapees from a cult. Even if you divorce yourself from the world and you sit in a room cross-legged, you are displaying cult-like behaviour. That's it. So let's accept that we're all in the cult. The difference is there are good ones and there are bad ones. And we have to make sure that we're in a good one. And what is a good cult? A good cult is a one that allows you to be a good person, to do good acts, to perform at your very best, and to be excited about what's coming. The bottom line is this. If you believe that the best is yet to come, that it's going to be okay, and it isn't, and it doesn't, at least you've had some decent years where you've lived happily. If you believe that the worst is coming and that it's going to be awful and it's going to be dreadful, and you have a shit few years and then it is awful and dreadful, then you've had a shit few years. I know what I plumb for. I don't care. Do you know, to be honest, I don't care about what happens. If it happens and if everything goes down the shitter, let it be. I'm going to be happy meantime. You know, as that expression goes, illegitimate conundrum. Don't let the bastards grind you down. Don't let them make your life a misery. Even if something bad comes in the future, which it won't. But even if it were the case, don't let them steal at least the little bit of enjoyment, a little bit of life that you've got. Grasp it, enjoy it, fuck them. That's what they want. That's what they want. They want us all miserable and fearful and thinking the worst, because that's what we're going to create. So our job is trusting that this is a covenant, this is set in stone, and then living our life according to what we want for the future. That's it. It's very easy. It's very easy. It's a no-brainer. Really, it is a no-brainer. It's what we have to do, regardless of the outcome. But the outcome is good. The outcome is good. It always will. Good will out. That's all that we have to remember. I love you all, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye-bye.